Hello guys and welcome to Excelsior Academy. Myself Dr. Ruby Singh. So today I'm bringing the second part of quiz out of 150 MCQs for NEET practice. So let's begin with our second journey. So the 16th question, because in the previous we have discussed about 15 questions, and now we are going to talk about the rest of the 15 questions. So like that, all parts are divided into 10 segments so that we can complete 150 questions with good explanation and with good understanding. So let's begin our journey. So dash are self-replicating extra chromosomal segments of double-stranded circular and naked DNA present in a bacterial cell. So we know that in bacterial cell already, as discussed before, it has got the bacterial DNA, right? So this is your double-stranded and it is circular. But here they are asking something else which is self-replicating and it is extra chromosomal segment. So here they are not talking about the bacterial DNA but about something else. So now we know that it is the plasmids. They come under the extra chromosomal segments, which is again the double-stranded and circular in nature. So these plasmids are the structures which consist of DNA and they exist and they can replicate independently of the chromosomes. So the copy number, that is the number of plasmid present in one bacteria, is going to be more. So in few bacteria it is 100 and in few cases it is more than 1000 also. So, for example, plasmids provides genetic instructions for certain cell activities, for example, antibiotic resistance, and they can be transferred from one cell to cell in a bacterial colony. And this is how, by transferring the plasmid from one cell to another, they provide resistance to the other bacteria. And because of this phenomena, many of our drugs are not able to act uh, on the infectious bacteria, and thus they become multi-drug resistant. So eventually what is happening, the bacteria are becoming more resistant to the drugs and we are not able to stop them. So here the answer becomes the plasmid. Okay. So we know nucleide is something which is associated with the DNA. Mesosomes we studied in last time that in a bacterial cell, they are kind of invaginations which are present, which help in increasing the surface area. Whereas bacteriophages are not virus, they are not bacteria, they are the viruses which attacks specific bacteria. Okay, so the answer is plasmid over here. So let's move on to the next. Okay, so read the given statements and select the correct option. Statement 1, in prokaryotes, mitochondria are absent. Statement 2, in prokaryotes, mesosomes are present which help in respiration. So let's see what is correct. So we know that in the prokaryotes, mitochondria are absent. That is true because it is present only in eukaryotes. Now, the both statements 1 and 2 are correct. Statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1. No, actually, because mitochondria and mesosomes are two different structures, so they are not related. Both segments 1 and 2 are correct, but statement 2 is not the correct explanation of statement 1, which is true because, see, mitochondria is responsible to generate ATP, but in case of eukaryotes, okay, whereas mesosomes are there to help in respiration in prokaryotes. It's true. So statement 2 is not the correct explanation of statement 1. It's a correct statement. Let's see the other one. Statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is incorrect. No, actually, because statement 2 is also correct. Now, both statements 1 and 2 are incorrect? No, because we know that both the statements are correct. Hence, here the answer is your option B. That is, both statements are correct, but statement 2 is not the correct explanation of statement 1. Okay. So, as we discussed before, mesosomes, like in the bacterial cell, mesosomes have certain these invaginations. Okay. So, they are developed as an ingrowth from the plasma membrane. So, last time also we have discussed that it helps in nuclear replication and cell division. Now, they contain certain respiratory enzymes and hence they are also called chondroid. So they have got the respiratory enzyme. So in short, it helps in respiration to the prokaryotes. So I hope this is clear, and this is new information where I have introduced the term chondroid. So your mesosomes are also called chondroid. Moving on to the next. The type of ribosomes found in prokaryotes is dash. So we know that in case of eukaryotes, it is 60 S subunits and 40 S subunits. Together, when they combine together in order to carry out translation, it becomes 80 S subunit. Now, whereas in the case of prokaryotes, largest subunit has got 50 S subunit and smaller subunit is made up of 30 S subunits. So when they combine, they become 70 S subunit. So what type of ribosomes are found in prokaryotes? It is the 70S type. So the correct answer is option B. So this is how we are going to do. Like now you know what are the types of ribosomes present in eukaryotes also. Next, if you remove the fimbriae from the bacterial cell, which of the following would you expect to happen? The bacteria could no longer swim. The bacteria would not adhere to the host tissue. Transportation of molecules across the membrane would stop. The shape of bacteria would change. So before you address this question, you should know what fimbriae are. So if you see in the structure, this is one single bacterial structure has been shown over here, wherein you can see that this is the bacteria and this is the flagella, right? And the pilus. So flagella helps in its locomotory action, that is for the movement. Now when you talk about pilus, it is for the transferring plasmid. Okay, so this is for transferring plasmid. Now these small projections are called fimbriae. Now you can see that the function of fimbriae is like, in order to get hold of the surface where these bacteria are present. So from the figure it is clear what is the function of fimbriae. Now let's check out what is the option given. So they have asked, if you remove fimbriae, what will happen? What would happen to the bacteria? So the bacteria could no longer swim. It is not true because it is swimming with the help of the flagella. Okay. Now the bacteria would not adhere to the host tissue. This is true because if these fimbriae are not there, it is not able to get attached to the host surface. Transportation of molecules across the membrane would stop. No, because it is transportation happens passing through the plasma membrane or the cell wall. But there is no role of fimbriae. The shape of bacteria would change? No, it is not. The shape is going to remain the rod shape only. So here the answer is your B option. So these fimbriae are hair-like structures which are present in large number in the bacteria, and they are helping in attaching to the solid surfaces. So likewise, it's clear now what is the function of fimbriae and how to address to this question also. Moving on to the next. Now, plant cells differ from animal cells in having dash. Options are cell wall, plastids, large central vacuole, all of these. So if you see over here, I have given a schematic representation where animal cell and plant cell both are given. So if you see over here, in case of animal cell as well as in the plant cell, you can see that the cell wall is present in the case of plant cell, whereas only here the cell membrane or the plasma membrane is present. Okay, whereas here you have got additional cell wall also. So plant cells differ from animal cells in having cell wall. True. Now plastids, yes, because only plant cells have got the chloroplast, and chloroplast is a type of plastid. So yes, this is also true. Now in case the large central vacuole, yes, vacuole is also present in plant cell, whereas in animals small vacuoles are present. So if you see that your option third is also true. So it means what? Yes, plant cells differ from animal cells in having cell wall, plastids and large central vacuole. Hence the answer becomes D, all of these. So let's move on to the next now. I hope your people are understanding and enjoy, because I'm providing all the details, minute details, in order to understand, so that you don't have to study again the same topic. Now, which one of these is mismatch pair? So largest cell, this we have discussed in our first topic itself. The only largest cell which can be seen through naked eye is the ostrich egg. So this is true. Golgi apparatus discovered by Altman. Mitochondria name was given by Benda. Lysosome discovered by D. Dewar. Now this is something you need to remember here. Okay. So what you have to remember is that the Golgi apparatus was actually discovered by Camillo Golgi in nerve cells of barn owl and cat. Okay, so here the answer, the option B is wrong, or that, or otherwise say it as mismatch. Okay, so this is your answer, because Golgi apparatus was discovered by Camillo Golgi, and from there onwards we got the name of the Golgi apparatus. Now, 22nd questions. So see, you can see with small short period of time, we have covered so many topics. Today we learned so many different topics also. So this is the strategy which I always feel that it's correct, because with one question, you're going to study the other 4 topics also. So let's do our 22nd question. Read the given statements and select the correct option. Statement 1. The cisternae in Golgi complex have cis phase and trans phase, which is true. The cis phase is also called forming phase, and the trans phase is also called maturing phase. So let's read the statements. Both statements 1 and 2 are correct, and the statement 2 is correct explanation of statement 1. Both statements 1 and 2 are correct, but statement 2 is not the correct explanation of statement 1. Then statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is incorrect. Both statements 1 and 2 are incorrect. Now, if you see here, the cisternae in Golgi complex have cis phase and trans phase, which is true. If you see the figure over here, this is how it looks. So here you will have your, let me just make it for you guys. So here you have got your nucleus, okay? And to this attached, you have got your ER. Then from ER, it goes to the cis phase of the Golgi. Then you have got the median, and then you have got the trans. So this is true. Okay. So first statement is true. Now cis phase is called forming phase, and trans phase is also called maturing phase, because this is called forming phase because from here whatever vesicle carrying the protein goes and combine over here, right? And they form small vesicle which goes and combine with this, wherein they get matured over here and totally gets mature, and then they are released as a secretory vesicles. So this is true, but if you see the options over here, both statements 1 and 2 are correct. Okay, so these two statements are correct, but statement 2 is not the correct explanation of statement 1, because those two phenomena is independent of each other. So here the answer is option B. So this is just similar to your previous question. Let's move on to the next now. So polyribosomes are aggregation of dash. So we know what are ribosomes, right? So in case of prokaryotes, we have seen that it is made up of 50S and 30S. In case of eukaryotes, it is made up of 60S and 40S. Okay. So now the question is, what is polyribosome? So poly means, it means many are there. So here, if you see the structure, it is single mRNA onto which many ribosomes are attached. Okay, now keeping this diagram in your mind, let's see what are the options. So polyribosomes are aggregation of ribosomes and rRNA. No, because ribosomes are made up of rRNA. Peroxisomes, no, they are the different organelles which is meant for detoxifications. Then we have got several ribosomes held together by mRNA, and last option rRNA. So once you see the figure, it is very much clear that to one particular mRNA, see here you can see that this is one particular mRNA, to which so many of your ribosomes are attached. Okay, so this is how a polyribosomes look like. Hence, the answer is several ribosomes held together by mRNA. So this is how you should study your MCQs with all the questions, with the diagram so that you don't forget. Next, select the wrong statement with respect to the structure of plant cell. So here, just remember they're asking wrong statement and it is given that they are talking about the plant cell. So let's see what are the options over here. First option, cellulosic cell wall is present inside the cell membrane. Centrioles are usually absent. A large central vacuole is present. Golgi apparatus is formed of a number of unconnected units called dictyosomes. Okay. Now, here you need to understand that in this case, when we talked about the plant cell, we talked that it has got the cell wall and then, first is the cell wall, then we have got the cell membrane, right? Inside nucleus is there, then you have got big vacuole is present. So centrioles are usually absent in plants. This is true because they're present in animals only. A large central vacuole is present. And yes, Golgi apparatus, as we discussed, this is a nucleus. Then you had connected ER, and from ER, it is the Golgi apparatus, cis phase and the trans phase. So they are actually unconnected units and each single unit is called dictyosomes. So this is true. It is dictyosomes. Okay. Now what is left is this. Cellulozoic cell wall is present inside the cell membrane. This is wrong because cell wall is present outside the cell membrane. Hence your answer for this question is option A. Because they have asked what is the, select the wrong statement over here. So I hope this is clear. You have to be very careful while reading the questions because sometimes it's easy, but sometimes in hurry, you make a silly mistake. Now, which of these is not correct regarding ribosomes? Non-membrane bound, present in the cytoplasm and on ER, absent in chloroplast and mitochondria, take part in protein synthesis. Now, it is not correct. So first of all, ribosomes are made up of rRNA and proteins, and it is present in cytoplasm and on ER. So option A and B is correct. Now they're absent in chloroplast and mitochondria and take part in protein synthesis. So all of these are actually correct except that they are also present in chloroplast and mitochondria. So if you remember your cell biology, both chloroplast and mitochondria have got their own genetic material apart from the nucleus. So in order to carry out the protein which is specific for chloroplast and mitochondria function, the ribosomes are required for protein synthesis, which is encoded by the chloroplast and mitochondria genome respectively. Hence here the answer is option C, absent in chloroplast and mitochondria. So next question, which organelle is not part of the endomembrane system? So in the case of endomembrane system, they talk about the double membrane in which they are bound organelles which function in close coordination with the one another. For example, Golgi complex, ER, lysosomes and vacuole, they are from endomembrane system. Other organelles like plastids, mitochondria, peroxisomes are not coordinated and thus they don't become a part of endomembrane system. So here the answer is mitochondria. Now, which of the following organelles is not included in endomembrane? Just right now we have discussed. So the answer is peroxisome because rest Golgi, lysosomes and vacuoles are included in endomembrane. Now, according to unit membrane structure, the thickness of plasma membrane is about dash. So this is the from your first topic when we started talking about the plasma membrane. So the answer is 75 angstrom because according to Robertson's concept of unit membrane, it is having a thickness of around 75 angstrom. Now with a central lipid layer of 35 angstrom and two peripheral protein layers of 20 angstrom each. So total it becomes around 75 angstrom. Cell recognition and addition are facilitated by components of plasma membrane, and these components are options: protein molecules alone, lipids alone, both lipids and proteins, glycolipids and glycoproteins. So here, let me draw for you, because if you remember your fluid mosaic model, so we had outer layer and inner layer. Okay. Now we know that in on this transmembrane proteins are there, peripheral proteins are there. So this is the cytosol and this is the outside, okay, the extracellular side. Now they are talking about cell recognition and adhesion. It means it has to be present on the outside of the cell membrane. So we know that outside of the membrane, the components which are proteins are there present, correct, lipids are there, but for recognition and adhesion, it is always the glycan region which helps in the attachment, which helps in the cell to cell recognition. So it is not only the proteins and not only the lipids, but the glycolipids which are present and they have got the sugar moiety, or the proteins which are present having the sugar moiety. Okay, so here the answer is option D, glycolipids and glycoproteins. For example, on your RBC, you have got oligosaccharide antigens like A, B are not present. So then the blood group becomes O. So presence of these antigens, which is nothing but the carbohydrate moiety, decides the blood group associations. So it can be either A blood group or B blood group. If both are present, then it becomes AP. So now moving on to our last question of this session, and that is the function of intracellular membrane is not to dash. So it establishes a number of compartments within the cell. It is true, because each membrane is keeping that particular function of the organelles compartmentalized. It provides for the neat spatial organization of enzymes and pigments, which is also true. If you see that lysosomes have got the hydrolytic enzymes which are present over there, and these enzymes are not present in the cytoplasm. Just imagine what will happen if these enzymes are present in the cytoplasm. They will hydrolyze all the proteins or the required elements which are present, and hence the cell will not be able to function. Correct. So that's why these hydrolytic enzymes are present, compartmentalized into lysosomes. Now, similarly, pigments, they are also present, compartmentalized to vacuoles. And now, suppose these vacuoles are ruptured, what happens? The entire cell will get stained. Okay. Now, it keeps the cell rigidity so that it does not collapse. Now, that is not the function of intracellular membrane. That is the function of cell wall. Last, provide a system of channel for the distribution of nutrients within the cell. Yes, so that is also true. Hence, now we know that intracellular membrane is involved in establishing compartments in the cells and provides organization of enzymes and pigments. Okay, so the rigidity of the cell is provided by the cell wall. So here the answer becomes that the function of intracellular membrane is not to give the cell rigidity. Hence the answer is option C. So I hope you like this series also of these questions. More and more questions will be asked, and this is how I'm going to teach each question with explanation with the diagram, so that you don't have to come back and remember. So I hope you liked it. Please keep watching. If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thank you.